Okay, hey
Okay.
everybody. My name is
Hello.
Lainey, and this is the Carpe Librum's uh, Red Queen live show, and I'm Lainey.
I'm Jillian.
I'm Kenya from My Little Bookshelf.
I'm Riley.
And Shannon's coming. She's just running a little late. I'm gonna real quick tweet the link because it says there's like 0 viewers. So.
Do you guys want to see the ratings first and initial thoughts?
Okay.
We can go. Oh yeah, let's go by the same order, I guess, that we introduced ourselves. That would be.
Okay. I rated it a 3 out of 5. I liked it. I just didn't think it was original enough for me to fully enjoy it.
I rated it a 5 out of 5. I just absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the world and the characters, and yeah, and I just loved it.
Hi.
Yay, Shannon's here.
Did we start?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Wait, what's the order? Just want to know. Just for
Okay,
clarity.
Jillian, Kenya, Riley, Shannon.
Okay.
Okay.
So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars also, and I initially felt annoyed, but towards the end I started getting excited, and it was very action-packed. So, yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It just had all the aspects that I enjoy in books. So, yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay. I really liked it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Looking back, I'd probably give it like 4 out of 5, but I always change my opinion like a week later. But not really, just because it's not like it didn't like blow me away. But I really did enjoy it. I really loved it, and I cannot wait for the sequel. Do we know when it comes out?
Next year.
I don't think there's like a date.
But yeah, I really loved it, and I really liked the characters a lot. I think that's what made it for me.
Yeah. Alright, before we continue and start discussing the book, there are a disclaimer that I think that we're gonna get spoiled a lot. So just a heads up. So, do you want to start with the writing and the pacing of the book first?
What just happened?
Okay.
What just happened?
Sure, you start.
Okay, I can start with the writing because I didn't have any bad things to say about the writing. The really good thing I think the writing saved this book for me. I thought it was really well paced and the transitions went really well. And even though I didn't find it as original as I would have liked to have seen it, I couldn't put it down. So it was like the saving grace for me. It was really fast paced and I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was really, I mean, I knew it was a debut going in, but like just reading it, I mean, I think her writing is already so like top notch. I think I just really loved it.
And the chapters were the perfect length. It just like really pushed the story along.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like even though I felt annoyed about the unoriginal aspects of the story, I don't feel like I ever felt bored because it was really good pacing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the part that I agree on. Like she just had a way. It wasn't like there wasn't anything unique about her writing to me, but just like the pacing, like you guys said, and she just knows how to tell a story. I think,
Yeah.
And that's what I really loved about it. I couldn't put it down.
You know, I was also on Goodreads and I was reading her author bio, and she majored in or whatever she studied, but she worked with screenplay writing, and I can really see it. You know, with the dialogue, it felt realistic and good and funny. It was always funny.
Yeah, I love that. Dialogue is always like my favorite part of a book. Like if there's too many big long paragraphs with descriptions, I cannot do it. Like I can't stand it. That's why I haven't read like Lord of the Rings yet. Like but you know, but like no, I really love the dialogue, and I do agree like that's how people talk, cuz sometimes you'll read dialogue and it's like people don't really say that. You know, like it's just like I really like the dialogue.
Alright, let's talk about the world, and within the world, also the powers. So I know that we were trying to figure out on Voxer what the world looked like, because Victoria tweeted something about Roman-inspired with dystopian, and I kind of still don't understand the world. Like, I don't know if it's dystopian in our world and whatever.
Can we talk about the dystopian aspect first of it? Because
Yeah.
I felt like Harper and Epic Reads kept saying it was dystopian, so I was like kind of waiting for an explanation of how Earth came to be like this, whether it was in the United States or not. But it's also like very fantasy-like.
I thought it was a fantasy.
Yeah, I thought it was fantasy. Like while I was reading it, dystopia never crossed my mind.
No, and I also think that if
sorry, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I also think like publishing companies, if the world is even a little bit alternative and not completely something else, they're gonna call it dystopian. Like I've noticed that they call everything dystopian, like
because of the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
They want to market it that way.
Yeah.
I do think though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lainey.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna change the subject like to like a different aspect of the thing. So go ahead.
Like someone on my review, I forget her name. She mentioned the fact that she thinks that if they're gonna say it's dystopian, it's really important for genre in YA kind of still that they need to like really make sure that they explore the what makes dystopian. So I think it shouldn't be marketed as dystopian unless the whole part, because like they mention the subways and they mention radiation, so that makes me still feel like we're on Earth, but I don't know. It's like I'm super blind when it comes to like where this takes place.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like when there was a certain when she was they were on the boat driving into the big city, I can't remember what it's called, but the big where all the Silvers live. Like things like that when they passed all the different towns or whatever they're called, I really, I could picture it because of her writing. Like, she explained it perfectly. So I enjoyed that and I liked it, but I know I agree that we're on Earth, but like the way she would say that the places were set up, and so I was just trying to think like, because sometimes authors will do that and you get like, you're like, that's here. Like you'll know like where they're talking about on Earth. But I still had no idea. And like she said, the big 100-mile bridge, which I thought was really, really cool, and I would love to see that. But like, it's just like, I mean, where are we?
You know what I was thinking also, because usually in fantasies or sometimes dystopian, we get a map, and we didn't have a map here.
Oh my god! I wanted a map so bad.
Yeah, that was so much.
It kept talking about north, south, and all these places, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, what if it is, okay, it's marketed as dystopian, and if it is dystopian, is that going to come into play, like, how can I explain it? Like, we're not supposed to know right now where we're at, because it's going to be some, because if they don't give you a map with this new world, then that's weird. Unless it's in Earth, then usually they don't give us maps,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, just kidding. Also, on the Q&A, she mentioned that they were in front of a map with Julian.
Yes, they were, and I was like, I want to see this.
Yeah.
Like I can't even tell you what the descriptions were anymore because I skimmed like that entire part because I didn't feel like I knew where we were at.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any like visualization when it came to like that map. But I felt like it was like a big moment, but it just went right over my head.
It was a little confusing anyway because he was showing her old maps and he had her like point out where the current places were on the old map.
Yeah. I think we're on Earth because we're not seeing the old map because maybe it's our map,
Right.
I don't know.
And what about the whole Roman-inspired thing? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, see,
I actually should pull up the tweet.
Yeah.
I had read her tweet before I started reading the book, so I like went into it with that in mind. But like looking back, if I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't have gotten the whole Greek.
I was gonna say because I didn't get that at all. Yeah.
Who compared it to Star Wars? Because then that's what I started picturing.
Yeah, I love that.
And I kind of like that because I feel like
who did that? Who said that?
Kenya.
Kenya did.
Oh yeah, I love that.
But not in space. But like,
like
it's like that's what that world is perfectly to me. Because then you have like the king and the queen, but then I'm picturing like the empire in Star Wars. So I'm like, that's what.
The only part that made me remind me of like the ancient civilizations was the gladiator kind of part in the beginning, but I felt like there should have been more of that in the book. It was like just there enough to tease you into being interested in the story, and then it was kind of like just dropped. I felt like, or we didn't really get that back. I didn't get those that feeling or that tone back again.
I only ever saw this like old Rome when we were at the marketplaces and she was like stealing and stuff. That's the only time where I can picture an actual, like market from back in the day. And then other times they would start mentioning like the screens and stuff, and I was like, where would this fit in, with what I'm picturing in my head? So it was just a big blur when I was reading the descriptions.
Yeah, like I could picture things individually, like I said with the bridge and like all the towns they were passing by, but as like a whole world, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But,
I think the most vivid description for me was when they were on the boat and they were going up or down the river. That was like my favorite description.
Me too. That's when I wish we had like a map.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put one the sequel. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
That description was so clear and perfect. I could picture that. But I tweeted her again, and I was like, what did I tell her? I go ask her, and she never replied back.
She doesn't really reply.
Yeah.
What about the powers? You guys want to talk about the reds and the silvers and the powers and all that?
I think that was my favorite part. I love powers because I think I love X-Men, and that's like where her inspiration came from. Like I loved it. I loved all the powers. I thought they were so interesting, and I don't know.
And I like how. I like how there was like almost not an infinite of different kinds, but there wasn't like this group has this group has this. There were the families, but I feel like even outside of the families, like Julian, like he had something that like everybody had their own individual thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that.
Yeah, and it was so easy to visualize what they would look like using their powers because of X-Men. Like I was legit just like visualizing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when she described hold on. Sorry.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. When she described
Harry Potter.
Sorry, my phone went off. When she described Mayoress Powers, like how she would use them, I could picture it perfectly. It was like so awesome.
You know how like the powers kind of stay within like the family?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of how Shade and Mayor's connected, because he can teleport, right?
Yeah, that's what I had a big question
Cool.
about too.
Yeah.
And then she has electricity, so I'm trying to like figure out how like maybe those connect, but I can't think. Do you think like her other family members might come into them, like her siblings?
I kind of hope not.
Yeah.
Like just because I don't know. Can I just say I freaking knew he was alive. Okay.
Yeah, I did too.
Literally, I was like, and then the second that last chapter started, I was like, it's happening. I knew it was happening, and I was so excited because she just loves him so much.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see his character more, though. He seems like it's gonna be a good character.
Yeah, even from that letter in the beginning, I feel like I immediately knew his character and the type of person he was, I really liked him. Yeah, even though he was barely in the book. Which was your favorite powers?
Oh.
I didn't have one.
I'd like to teleport.
Yeah, I think that one's cool, but we
Yeah.
didn't see enough of that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I feel like that will play a lot in the next book, though.
Yeah, I think like the scariest one was the
the queen.
Evangeline. She was the metal, right?
Yeah.
That freaking scares the crap out of me. Because oh, sorry, what?
Sorry, I was just saying she's like a human gun.
I know. And then if you watch X-Men,
She would like
there's
make
that-
these like little bullet things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the metal thing scares me too because there's that guy, I don't remember his name, in X-Men who has the metal powers, and
Magneto.
Magneto, and I won't spoil that much, but he like there's one part where he like pulls the iron out of someone's body and like kills them, and I'm like, no. I was waiting for it to happen the whole book. I was waiting for it to happen. Ugh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
You know, it's funny because in Vampire Academy, from all the magic or whatever, I remember I used to like the fire one, and in this book I felt like the fire was so useless. Like when they were fighting the lesbian, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think that was like kind of like I didn't think about it much, but now that I think about it, it's kind of like a cool twist because I feel like fire is always the most powerful, like in any kind of superpower or anything.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting that like the king and the princes, that was their power, and they're like the most powerful, like in the government,
Yeah.
but they have the least useful power.
Yeah. I was getting confused with the singer and the whisper power. You know, Julian. Is it Julian, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The queen. Like for a second, I thought they had the same power, and
Yeah.
I don't know why they made them separate because they were literally the same thing.
I thought
Yeah,
so
the queen can get into your head
You
and
know?
like make you do anything without even looking at you or touching you. Julian has to like look at you and touch you
Yeah.
to get you to do what he wants.
He has to have like direct contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like isn't that big of a difference, but it's kind of like vital. Like if you think about it, because if the queen was just, the other way, then she wouldn't even be half as much of a problem.
Which,
You know.
so you think that, because weren't they saying that the powers are like kind of a mutation because that was her inspiration anyway? So maybe like the whisper can eventually what's the word? Evolve into maybe a whisper. The singer could evolve into a whisperer. Or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because wasn't it that the whisperer could also like not just make you do things, but like read your mind and like see all your memories?
Yeah. Everything in your mind. That was like,
Yeah.
that's like my favorite power.
You know what else I'm kind of wondering? Okay, so Mare is, the red with the power, and she can create electricity. Is it because she's a red and she has an ability? Because then, if that's right, then what about the other ones, the other 27? You know?
Yeah, I think like the main difference between like the reds with powers as opposed to the silvers is that the silvers, like, they needed to be around something to like connect their power to, whereas like the reds with powers could just create it out of thin air.
Yeah. I can't wait I hope they meet the other 27.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to see what their powers are.
I just hope that, because I did love this first book, I just hope that Victoria Aveyard writes a really good explanation about what the difference between the red and the silvers are, and why the reds are so special.
I can feel a divergent explanation.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of.
So pissed.
That's like my fear.
Yeah. But, like, we still don't know why like some reds have powers. And
Yeah, and not all reds. And I'm like, please be good. Please be logical.
I almost didn't like that part. I kind of liked how she had almost a near-death experience, and that's why it came onto her. I didn't like the fact that she was born with it. Yeah, like I liked how I read it where she fell into that electricity thing, And I'm like, oh, cool. So she wasn't like born with it, which I feel like a lot of YA tropes kind of do, is that they were special from the beginning, even though they're not supposed to be.
I
So
know,
I
but
don't know. No,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, but like, didn't she like mess with like the breaker in the house when their electricity was out?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a hint at her power.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Right.
I remember that, and I remember her mentioning a few times, like, oh, like I can hear the buzzing.
Yeah, like all the cameras and stuff when she went with
Yeah,
her
like she mentioned
sister.
that before. Yeah.
Okay, so you know how we're talking about this could possibly a mutation with the silvers and stuff? I was reading the back of the book, and it was talking about angels and gods that lived in the
Yeah, I
sky.
saw that.
And what is that? So is that the fantasy part of this? So it's not a mutation? Because if you read it, it makes it seem like it's this magical fantasy thing, you know?
Yeah, especially because they have silver blood. Like, that makes me feel like they're not human if they don't have red blood.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, what are they? Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not human.
But is that fact, or is that what the Reds have always been taught? So that they're scared of silvers.
They're teaching them.
What is what fact?
That they came from gods, like the gods.
I see.
That whole part. So I wasn't sure about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Yeah,
is that something the Reds are told, or is it like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the backstory. I hope it's like really. I hope it's original.
I hope it's
like, you know, I hope it's
really
good.
Do you guys want to move in and talk about characters?
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Mare?
I loved her. I thought she was very witty and sarcastic, and at times she reminded me of Rose Hathaway, which I've never, it never happened before.
Yeah,
I
really
liked how like
I really liked her. I usually have problems with like female protagonists, but like I just really liked her. She was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how she wasn't immediately, or she wasn't ever really like super confident in the beginning, like, or when she first got to the silver place or whatever. But I like that she kind of faked it till she made it. Like she gave them so much sass, and she was just so like whatever, because she didn't, you know, because I feel like, I don't know, I liked her.
I liked her. I didn't love her, but I didn't hate her. I just feel very neutral about her. I like felt for her, but I still don't really feel all that attached to any of the characters. I think I liked them all. I don't love them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
With me, I really think that it was the characters that made me keep going with the story and made me like it. I was so into their individual stories more than I was with the overall plot or whatever. So I really liked them all. Even the side characters, I loved the side characters here, like Lucas and Julian. I liked them so much, especially, I don't know, I can't remember her name. I can't even remember how it was spelled. Farley, the revolutionary girl.
Farley.
Oh, Farley.
I love her.
Yeah.
I think I liked her the best because I'm like rewatching or watching the 100, and I pictured Lexa, if you guys.
Yeah.
And then I just like absolutely loved her.
I don't know.
So I'm really glad she didn't die, because I would have been really disappointed if she would have died.
Yeah.
I was so upset.
Sorry.
Sorry.
A novella of her and her story. Also.
We need a novella of Julian, and I forget her name.
Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Julian and Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
I love them. Like that little that one moment they had in the book, I was like, I need a book.
Yeah.
I love them. I liked Bear, but I have to say I loved Cal and Maven, and I loved their relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so much more there that could be talked about from when they were kids. They're half brothers, or there's so much there that could be.
Especially because he like calls him Mavy or Mavy. After that, I was like, oh my god, I love them.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, not another book, but like, you know how Thor and Loki have that relationship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love Cal.
Me too.
You know, it's
I was.
so complicated because I really like Maven.
What are we talking about?
Wait, are we still talking about Cal and Maven?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like
Cutting
Maven.
out. Your audio keeps cutting out.
Okay.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Am I fine right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I really liked Maven a lot, and I knew what was coming, and even then, I still liked him, and I never ever like a love triangle or the second dude in the love triangle. You know what I mean? But
Really?
You know what? That surprises me, Kenya, because I thought
Me
after I
too.
read that like he like double crossed her, I'm like, oh my god, Kenya's gonna hate this.
I like did not like Maven from the beginning. Like
Really?
he was too like when he was like really close, he was too perfect, and I was like, there's something so wrong with you. Like,
I said the same thing, but then I got so distracted by Cal's actions toward the rebels that I totally like dropped my suspicions of.
Maven reminded
No,
me
I,
of
like, love Cal.
I felt like I had to love him.
no.
I literally pictured a dark-haired Josh Hutcherson.
No, but seriously, I think this is the only. I think like I compared Maven to the Darkling,
Yeah.
and that was like the bet. Like that was a good comparison for me because I was so excited about that. I was so excited when that happened. I was like, oh my god, it made him like so much more interesting to me.
you know, the second that you guys said a plot twist, this is like the first thing that popped into my head while I was reading, and I remember texting Lainey. I was like, okay, did I miss the plot twist already? Because for a second, I was like, was it really like the 27 Reds with abilities? Like that doesn't seem too like shocking with your reactions, you know? And then I was like, well, what I'm thinking is that Maven is a monster and is working as a spy for the queen.
Yeah, I think Maven is my favorite character. He's just so like interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love him.
I like him, but like I think I don't. Okay, hold on. This is gonna be like an unpopular opinion. I really liked him. I think his character is really interesting, but there was such a like. I mean, I understand he's really good at what he does. That he was like lying to her the whole time. There was such a difference, like between who he was before and afterwards, but not in a good way for me. It was kind of just like it didn't make sense. Like it didn't fit together as like he's the same I don't know how to explain it. It was like some sort of disconnect. I still like him, and I would like to know his history and like when the plan with his mom started. But I just didn't really. I don't know. I was like kind of not that impressed by his character, and I was like, oh no.
I mean, I'm sure he lied a lot of the time with like the whole relationship and stuff, but I think he does feel super inferior to Cal, and that's what I really, really loved about it. Cause like that part was like so honest.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Like the shadow of the flame. I love that. Like that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
And I mean, even after it was like revealed that he was double crossing her, there was like a few moments where he would like hesitate or like have a look on his face where wasn't like totally confident in what he was doing.
I have a theory. So, okay, do you think his mom is controlling him?
What?
Well, wait, what?
Oh, sorry. Wait, Kenya, do you want to go?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. I just was thinking that, because obviously his mom can control him and like make him do things and like stuff, but I feel like is she controlling him like the whole time in that scene where, you know, all the ish goes down. You know what I mean? Like I feel like she kind of just had control over him the whole time. Like he had no choice.
But now that you mention it, like that could be a possibility.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah, I thought about that, and like I also thought like, what if like maybe not completely controlling him, but like just getting in his mind and like being like you're less than your brother, like you're inferior. and just kind of like sparking something in him.
And also,
Right, yeah, I think it was like, yeah.
You know how I think it was you, Lainey, who was mentioning that, or no, Riley, you were saying that there were moments where he would hesitate when he was already mean. I think that those were the moments when the queen would like get in his head if that was the the thing going on here, and also because of his friend. You know that friend that
Yes.
he told.
The story
Like,
about the
it makes
soldier.
me believe that he's not fully. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think his mom's controlling him. Like, I don't really think that was him.
Can we talk about the
Now
romance?
What?
Can we talk about the romance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with like the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I didn't like any of the romance.
Why?
Because, okay, so, like, I kept waiting for these really awesome moments, because I love, like, those tension-filled, like conversations where, like, something could happen, but then it doesn't happen, but, like, I just feel like there wasn't enough of those scenes to, like, or even, like, talking to, like, really build any of the relationships. Like, I did like Maven and Mayor, and like kind of them getting to know each other. I felt like that was like stronger, even if he was kind of playing her. But I just didn't get the whole Mayor and Cal relationship at all. And so like the ending like really, really frustrated me because I didn't think he would ever choose her over his country, and that bothered me that Mayor almost thought that he might.
Yeah.
Like how I saw that was that like obviously he was never gonna choose her because he didn't love her, but like Maven totally manipulated her and made her believe that he would because like that was his plan. His whole plan like rested on that.
Yeah, and I felt like their relationship was more of like an infatuation. That's why I think I said in my review, like I felt like the romance was like a secondary thing. It wasn't important in this book.
Yeah, and I think like I kind of like the way that it was secondary in the first book, and I think like how Cal and Maeve's Cal and Mayor's relationship at the end is so broken. I think it'll become something more real, and then maybe.
He said like at the end he thought for a moment to choose her over the thing, and I'm like, really? You really thought that? Like, okay, I feel like I said this in like my review, and I know you guys have watched it, but they kind of summarized a lot of what moments should have been expanded, like the whole dance lessons. I would have bought their relationship a lot more if there was a building of their relationship, because there wasn't. And like that's kind of like we talked about that with the whole. I'm gonna throw like Falling Kingdoms out there, but like Cleo and Theon, like we thought that happened almost too fast, even though they knew each other for a longer amount of time, but we didn't get that with the writing, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
like we didn't see it.
Yeah, I feel like that was like how I felt about Cal and Mare, where I could have bought the relationship if we just saw more scenes of them together, versus just the summarizing of them spending time together every night for an X amount of time.
I love Cal, and for me, the idea of Cal and Mare being together, like I like that and I want that, but I do agree with like the whole thing that we didn't get enough, and he was just always there. So yeah, I don't know, but I want them together in the end.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me that too much that we didn't. Okay. So we didn't get enough like of the building up of their relationship and why they were so in like with each other or whatever. But I was kind of okay with how little there was in the first book, because I kind of feel like in my head it's just I'm like comparing it to like a TV. I'm watching Arrow right now, okay? And I'm just like, and like the two characters I want to be together, I know still aren't together.
Yeah.
In what's happening now, but I think that makes it so much better. And they have to like learn to lean on each other, know each other before they can actually be ready to be in a relationship, especially with him being the king or the prince, whatever.
And Cal has so much to deal with now, and how Mare's actions played into it, and he killed his dad. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, God.
Hard. Oh my god.
I feel like that's gonna add so much to their relationship.
Yeah, me too. I
Later.
can't wait.
Yeah.
I also feel like I'm glad I agree with the whole thing that we didn't get enough in this book, because if we got a lot of Cal and Mare, am I cutting off?
No.
Yeah.
Am
No,
I
you're
cut
okay.
off?
No, you're
Oh no. Okay. If we would have gotten a lot of Cal and Mare, I feel like the whole thing with Maven and Mare would have, like, we would have chosen Cal over Maven straight off the bat, So I felt like it was a good balance, because I know for me, like, I hate love triangles, and I always choose the guy who seems like he's gonna be the end game, or like the first who's introduced, and I would have not given Maven a chance. And I feel because of this, I gave him a chance, and I was starting to like him, even though I was like, no, like you're the second one here.
Yeah, so kind of like the author was manipulating us.
Yeah. I just feel like it was a good balance, because then we would have not liked Maven even if we didn't know that he was a monster.
Do you think Maven and Mare are gonna rekindle what could have been in future books, or do you think they're gonna be no more?
I feel
I
like
don't
they
think anymore.
could have a moment if it is true that like he's being controlled by the queen.
Yeah.
But if he's not, then no.
No.
About Maven being, I know, Lainey, you haven't. There's this one character there who's evil, and that's who I'm picturing. Not picturing exactly like the same person, but the similarities of the character. Where in the end, I still feel bad for them, even though they're horrible. I don't know.
Speaking of like guys, we should probably talk about Killorn. Because Jess in the Q&A mentioned how she thought that Killorn was the most pointless character in the story and only existed as an initial competitor for Cal.
I hate it.
I don't like him at all.
Yeah, me I don't like
from like the first page. God.
He needs to go.
I like him.
I agree, Jess.
Wait, question.
I just think whenever there's like a Gale in a book, I just want him to go. Like,
I don't
need it here.
I didn't see him too much as the Gale, because we didn't get a lot of I didn't get no romantic vibes from them.
I think he's totally in love with Mare. I just don't think
you can
but
tell.
she's not in love with him.
No, not at all.
I want him to be with Harley. Kilron, whatever, with what's her name? The
Harley?
chick? Yeah. Yeah.
I like would just be very. Just because they're there, they're both rebels. I just feel like that'd be too convenient if they got together, though.
Yeah.
I kind of like we didn't see any of this, but I was like, ooh, if Shade and Farley got together, like
That'd be cool.
That'd be good.
That'd be awesome.
Do you think Farley knew that Shade was alive the entire time? Because she said like he was a good soldier.
I
think so. I think she like kept that from Mare so that it would like spark Mare to like join them.
And also, I think she probably kept it in her back pocket so that if Mare started to like not be as cooperative or something, she could be like, "I know your brother's alive" or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was dead though, because of that letter. Like I was like, I don't think he's dead.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I was thinking unless I see a body in any.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think Killorn and Mare will? I don't know.
Please God, no.
No.
I don't want to.
I like wouldn't mind if he was sacrificed. Like just kill him. And, I mean.
I just want a strong friendship between a male and a female character without any romance involved. Like, I want to see this in a book.
Under the Never Sky.
And then
Yeah,
I was just gonna say,
that is the best one.
Yeah. I think he'll probably die.
Yeah.
There were moments where I thought he was gonna die in the first book.
No, when he gave her the earring, I thought he was gone. the part when they go in the dungeon
Oh yeah.
thing and gives her the piercing, I'm like, oh, he's gone.
You know what really upset me? Oh my god, when the very, very end, her bodyguard guy, Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
yeah,
he was
that was
so mad, and I just was so heartbroken. That literally ruined me. Oh my god, it was awful.
Like, he was just doing his job, and
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
But he died before.
I know. I hate that
Like-
there was no closure there.
Yeah, like I mean, he never forgave her.
I even sometimes felt like he kind of liked her, which that was like another thing.
No.
Yeah, there was like some things that no, like there was just some things that he said, or he'd like smile at her, and I'm like, does he like her? And then I didn't like how like all these guys were fawning over Mare,
Yeah.
but like I was kind of expecting that because like you have Killorn who likes her, Maven who likes her, Cal who likes her, and I just too many guys
Yeah.
liking her.
Yeah.
Except what's her name's brother? Like the only guy who doesn't like her.
Evangeline.
Oh,
Yeah, I hated her. Oh my god.
Okay, I pictured her brother as Dany's brother in Game of Thrones. Because you know how they have like silver hair? That's who I pictured, and I was like, oh.
Right when they like zeroed in on Aveline, or what's her name?
Evangeline.
Doing her little medal stuff, I'm like, she's gonna win this Queen's Trial thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you guys think of that? Because I know it's been compared to the selection and stuff, but I didn't even think of the selection. I thought it was one night, and it was like a power thing. I didn't really.
Yeah, I think that the 2 chapters that it was in was better than the whole selection trilogy.
Yes, Riley. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't read the selection, so.
I don't want to say you're missing out on it, but you kind of are because everybody hates it. So it's like one of those things
What else?
And those 2 chapters were like way more exciting, right? Like it actually had like action.
Yeah.
And America wasn't there.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand Evangeline though. Like every time she was in a scene, my skin would crawl. Like she is the worst kind of person, and I was just,
I know, right?
Like that last scene when she was like in the battle to like kill Cal and Mare.
And she runs away. Ugh.
And now you know she's gonna go after Maven.
Like, oh my god, her and Maven would make like the best worst power couple.
Wait, can we talk about the king? Did you guys feel like he was a bad? I mean, he's a bad king to like the Reds or whatever. But do you believe his affection towards his sons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Like in that second with the whole scene where they were gonna, Cal was gonna kill him, I forgot he was bad.
See, I never really got the sense that he was bad, and that kind of bothered me.
Me neither.
He wasn't the worst king I've ever read, but he wasn't like my favorite king I ever read. Like he was just average.
Yeah.
And like we didn't even know much about him anyways. Like,
yeah, he wasn't like a major part to the plot or anything. It was more like the queen. She controls him, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. Now I think that she controls everybody.
Yeah.
I just felt like he wrote him as a king who just had to do what he had to do to keep his country together, even if it was bad. That's how I thought of him.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like the war?
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like that wasn't really well developed. I felt especially like it's like it was just like thrown in there, like there's like this 100 years war that's going on.
Right.
There should
And
have been more background story on that.
Yeah, and like especially like the other country I think they're at war at, like what's going on there. what's
Right.
their everything like. And I don't understand why the Silvers, like the whole training sequences was cool, but I'm like, what are they doing with this? Like, I know they don't want to fight the war, but like, why are they training if they're not? And they're like really good at what they're like with their powers. So like, how is this war not over yet?
Well, I feel like the war is almost like just the Silver's way of, getting the Reds or giving the Reds something to do. Do you know?
No.
Like, I kind of feel like.
Isn't the war between silvers versus silvers?
Yeah, but they send the Reds to fight.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to sacrifice any of their own. I think they just
Oh,
are like,
that's now I get what you're saying.
I guess to control the red population.
Yeah. Or like, and I think I really liked when I loved Cal. And I think I got kind of mad at Mare when she got so mad at him, because I guess he wasn't doing the right thing all the time, but I mean you would understand what he had to do since he was in such a. But I really liked when he put that group together and they were gonna go to the front lines or whatever. He's like, oh, you gave me the idea, and he was really stepping up, which is something that none of the Silvers had ever done, So I like his character. I like that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if his Legion went into war, like if it actually would have changed anything. I feel like it would. He seems like he was down to go to the front lines.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen? I cannot even imagine how Cal is gonna come back into power or whatever. I cannot understand how he's gonna recover from that, because that was huge.
Yeah, and they also no one will trust him because they got him killing the king on camera.
Right. But I mean, also, here's my whole thing, is that it's called Red Queen. I mean, I'm thinking she's gonna end up being the queen. I'm thinking her and Cal are gonna be ruling over the kingdom. But I don't really know how that's gonna happen either. But I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the rebel group and kicking ass.
Right.
I think that if Cal comes back into power, it's not going to be because of him. It's because Cal, and she's going to be the leader, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, to me, based off of the ending, they have bigger problems in the war against the other Silvers in the other countries. So I wonder if that's still going to be a big part of the story, or if it's more just going to the Silvers versus the Reds.
I feel like what might happen is that there will be more uprisings in other countries between Silvers and Reds, and it'll just kind of be one huge war with all the countries between the Reds and Silvers.
You know what I can't wait to see happens with remember when they were on the boat, like we've mentioned 500 times, and they passed that that one town that's the industrial one, and they don't even my God, I hope she saves every single last one person from that little town. I felt so bad. Ugh.
Yeah. All right. We have about 10 minutes left.
What was on that list? Did we talk about
you guys
everything on
want to
that
start
list?
closing this up? What's something that you guys want to see in the next book? I want Mare to be not in a castle. I want to see her fighting.
Yeah.
I want to see the book to go a little bit more original. I want to see something that hasn't been done before. I want to see the plot going somewhere where I don't see it already going.
Yeah.
Because I did compare it a lot to Catching Fire and Mockingjay when I was reading it, and I don't want to read that again for the second book.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet or see. I'm wondering if the second book will be, if it'll be a journey finding the other 27, or if they will already have found them, and then they'll just immediately start the whole rebellion or whatever they're gonna do.
I would like for a journey story.
Yeah, I feel like
actually
it's gonna be a journey. Yeah.
If they're journeying somewhere, there's moments for camping.
Hell yeah.
Say that. We need some camping.
That'd be great, but I want them to develop more.
Yeah.
I want it to be real.
Yeah. For once, I don't feel like I need that. I don't know. I just felt like this ending was satisfying compared to, my journey through this book. So I like that. You guys have like any favorite parts of the book, and do you guys want to close with that?
I really liked one of the last scenes when her and Cal were fighting for their life in the arena. I just loved that whole scene.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
my favorite. I feel like that, and as bad as it was, I really liked the this mayor discovering what Maven really is. Who he really is. I like those. Just this were. Anything else?
My favorite part was the big reveal.
Yeah.
Like, my heart was, like, pounding. Like, when he killed his dad.
Oh my gosh.
When I was just like, oh, it was so good. Like, that whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked when they were in training and there was that whole lesson about don't let your don't get trapped or whatever. Remember that? Like, wasn't it Maven fighting somebody else? But then I like how it came.
The nymph or whatever.
Yeah, I like how it came full circle because when they were in the arena thing fighting at the end, she like totally trapped that guy at the end. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? He trapped him in his own ability, and I like that. Yeah, she did.
She really did.
Also, I really liked the boat scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good too.
Me
yeah.
too.
All right. So, do we want to, Lainey? Do you want to say anything?
I didn't have a favorite part.
That's okay.
Whatever. All right. Do you guys want to announce? Who wants to announce the next book?
Wait, who has the book with?
I do.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, our next book is going to be Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
Yay! I don't even know what this book is
really
about.
long time to figure out what book we were going to do.
Yeah. And we're really excited because it's also, we were mentioning how it's similar to Red Queen, so I'm really excited to see, how they work with the same concept about different bloods in this book. And it's also adult, so I really can't wait for this.
Is our hashtag Librum Rising?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so thank you everybody who joined us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.